Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So we got the crypto market cap up here from coinmarketcap.com. We've got Bitcoin down 0.1%. We got Ethereum up by a little bit, by about 1/10 of a percentage point. Binance Coin here is down 0.22%. We got XRP up about 0.04%. So again, not too much volatility in the market, not too much movement. We've just been waiting and waiting and waiting, guys, waiting for that big move. TA analyst here bringing this up with regards to the Bitcoin chart. Now, some more sentiment for some bullish action, which in my opinion would also help altcoins move along their merry way. So TA analyst here saying Bitcoin, every time the S&P 500 touched the lower of the weekly Bollinger Band, which is another type of indicator, length 30, standard dev 3, a bottom of BTC was reached and a huge bull run followed. So what he's looking at here is Bitcoin compared to the S&P 500, which is, I guess it should be an uncorrelated market. However, he is finding some clues here that could correlate. So he says the precision is nearly perfect. The S&P 500 has recently touched the bottom of the weekly Bollinger Bands. So just bringing up this chart here, the bottom chart is the S&P 500. The top chart, of course, is Bitcoin. And he's pointing it out with these green circles every single time the S&P hit the bottom point of the Bollinger Bands, which we are seeing also right now in 2022. Bitcoin price did go up. So he's demonstrating this from back in 2015, also from back in 2019 over here. Correction for the S&P touched that bottom of the Bollinger Bands, and then the resulting reaction for Bitcoin is that we did see a move to the upside, and we also did see that back in March of 2020 when the bear flu really did have an effect on entire markets. We saw that hit down bottom Bollinger Band, and Bitcoin, that's when Bitcoin started its rally upward. So here we are today, again, 2022. We're seeing that same pattern in the S&P 500 and Bitcoin here poised for a breakout. We've got Tech Dev here also stating some interesting facts with regards to the technical analysis. We're seeing an inflection in the 90-day rate of change of Bitcoin's 1 year plus hodl wave, with the wave at an all-time high. Each of the last 5 times this occurred, Bitcoin never saw new lows. So this is something else we should be paying attention to. Again, the Bitcoin chart on top. And so take a look at some of these indicators. The orange represents Bitcoin supply, last active plus 1 year ago. We can see when that did reach a high or an all-time high, the price of Bitcoin did continue a trajectory upward. We saw it back here in 2013, a few times in 2011, 2012, and 2013. Also here in 2021, we did see that. Bitcoin did make a new all-time high, and now we are seeing that again on the chart. Also down here, that correlates to the rate of change, the 90-day window, and the 14-day EMA. We can see that those highs are also correlating with the former indicator, and also here projecting that Bitcoin will likely rise. So interesting facts here. He continues by saying this is not a guarantee of new lows, of course. Nothing is. It is an historical observation which helps inform my probabilistic view of market asymmetry. So some things we should be paying attention to, of course, we've got the Bitcoin chart up here. Hasn't been doing really much of anything, I'd say, over the last year, even though we did see these highs and then correction, 50%, another high, another big correction. Ultimately, though, looking at it from a wider perspective, this is just sideways momentum. This is neither bullish nor is it bearish. We're ultimately waiting for that pop to the upside in order to make some more profits. Michael Vandepope also here bringing this up with regards to the BTC XRP chart, okay? Take a look at this. This chart looks so similar to the previous cycle in 2014 and 2017. Seems like we're going to have that big run on XRP again. The more the chart squeezes, the heavier the breakout will be, and everyone will rush into that position. So just bringing this up, XRP to BTC on the 1 week. And you can see it here, just accumulation over the last 2.5 years or so after these 2 big pops for XRP, which we saw back in 2017. The market cooled down. We saw another pop up here, another cool down, and just essentially basing into a supply level or a supply zone over the last few years with a couple of pops up here. But ultimately, what we're waiting for is that big pop, something like we saw compared to Bitcoin, something that we saw, similar to back in May of 2017 and January of 2018. Also note too, this is when everybody will rush into that position. So it's not just going to be the current holders and the current momentum that is going to get this up and going. It's going to be the FOMO that really ramps it up. When people, novice investors, start seeing that coin pop, that's going to get more money flowing in, and that's where we're going to see these all-time highs, guys. At least that's just my opinion. Crypto Investor here on Twitter pointing this out too. For all the people hating on XRP right now, because I know there are a lot, The lawsuit's been dragging out, and people have been losing steam, I've noticed. Remember one thing, if Ripple decided to roll over without a fight and let the SEC just walk away with a victory, your crap coins would be worth exactly that. Crap. And the rest of the crypto market would have an uphill battle ahead. Food for thought here. We have to have companies like Ripple fighting the good fight, and Ripple, of course, has good reason to do so, considering they have so much vested interest in a lot of the companies that they've partnered with to do well. One of them includes TerraPay, a company that is just getting bigger and bigger in the Latin American region, in the Middle East and Southeast Asia as well. So this from OK__cool here on Twitter. Just with regards to TerraPay and the fact that they have now obtained a license in the USA and they aim to strengthen their footprint in key global markets. This coming directly from their blog post. For those of you guys who may not remember TerraPay, they are a Ripple partner, of course, and back in, I believe this was 2020, they did ink a partnership with Visa to further expand digital payments. Also back in 2020, they were acquired by Investor Group. So just a couple of news points there that I should mention before going on with this. TerraPay announces that it has secured their money service business, or their MSB, license in the state of Florida in the U.S. The license will facilitate the company's unparalleled and robust cross-border payment infrastructure to mobilize international remittances from the region in real time at low costs and help offer diverse, value-added financial payment services to TerraPay's partner and their customers present globally. Through the U.S. license, TerraPay aims to expand its partnership network in the U.S. and the Latin American region of the world to facilitate low-cost, hassle-free, instant transactions in 96 countries. And these guys are doing it with the help of RippleNet being integrated into that software. This is how they're going to get the low-cost, hassle-free, instant payments to their customers. This MSB license is a major step towards TerraPay's goal of becoming a major player in the global cross-border payment ecosystem. Also, just some of the stats down here, 25 regulatory approvals and local licenses connecting customers to their global payment partners, 4.5 billion plus bank accounts, 1.5 billion, over 1.5 billion mobile wallets across 192 countries and 49 settlement currencies. So we are seeing big moves for TerraPay. Of course, they have been strengthening their position as well. They are in India, Southeast Asia, the Mid East. Recall NPCI, Network International, Lulu, Extended, Doku, GME Remit, and also in the Latin American region, which we mentioned earlier with Boss, Movi, and Western Union. Is it WU? Is Western Union? Release also notes an 8% remit cost in Africa. So with these companies in Africa as well. So TerraPay making leaps and bounds in the cross-border remittance industry. I also saw this, guys, from Michael at Val5 Links. This has to do with the Algorand network, and a new SEC filing reveals that a new Bitcoin ETF is going to be tokenized on the Algorand blockchain. So the first few paragraphs here just describing this particular Bitcoin ETF and how it is devised. Let me just go down here. The other very interesting wrinkle in this ETF filing is the fact that its shares are tokenized, recorded on Algorand. Per the filing, the ownership of the fund's shares will be recorded or digitized on the Algorand blockchain. Additionally, the shares will become available for purchase, sale, or transfer from one shareholder to another shareholder peer-to-peer on the Algorand chain. So guys, this is where we're starting to see finance go. We are now starting to live in a world where you can see the value transfer being put from one person's pocket to another person's pocket without that middleman. And this is just a prime example. This one particularly running on Algorand. That bit is particularly interesting. Trading equity shares is not something that is generally ever done peer-to-peer. So Algorand obviously playing a big part in this. This particular example has to do with this new Bitcoin ETF. Equity shares are not liquid like crypto, not even remotely. People can buy and sell equities, but the rigidity couched in fine print strips these shares of any semblance of ownership. This ETF's proposed transition to tokenization allows for flexible liquidity, providing a crypto-like makeup for the equity. So just another example of where we're going to see the future of finance move to: flexible liquidity, providing value for the investors involved. And guys, this is all happening, this one particular, on the Algorand blockchain, the XRPL, doing something similar. So this is why, there are certain coins, certain projects to be paying attention to. The coins that solve problems, those are the ones that I am interested in. Thanks to Michael for posting that. And Stefan Hubert here, theorizing on Twitter, what's going to happen next in the XRP lawsuit. His theory: next Friday, he says, a joint schedule will be announced. Then summary judgment will be scheduled by May. Then the SEC will do everything to delay the DPP beyond the summary judgment. Number 4, summary judgment creates precedent for projects depending on Hinman's speech. And the number 5, his emails will be undiscoverable and sealed forever. Well, where are we right now? Stéphane Hubert just tweeting out a tweet that he posted just yesterday. Ripple wants summary judgment in May, even without the emails. Imagine these emails being so existentially dangerous for the SEC that they would rather lose summary judgment and fair notice, creating a huge precedent for all future cases just to prevent this ever coming to light. And he brings up the April 15th filing again. The SEC understands that they do not object to proceeding to summary judgment without final resolution of their motion challenging certain of the SEC's privileged assertions. Also this, a summary judgment schedule with opening briefs and related filings is due in mid-May. So Kev.XRP posting this, unlikely that May, Ripple asked for summary judgment without the emails because they already know they win with the fair notice defense and don't want any more delays. But surely if the SEC came after ADA, for example, then the emails would still be discoverable. He's asking the question to Jeremy Hogan and John Deaton. Well, John Deaton responded. And it's interesting, this is what John Deaton had to say about this. Understandably, most people are focused on the fair notice defense, which I'm sure a lot of you think is very important, myself included. But John Deaton has another point to mention with regards to this. But it's possible, if not likely. Fair notice never gets ruled on. Ripple and XRP hodlers can win on a strict Howey analysis. If that happens, Judge Torres could say there's no need to rule on fair notice. So that's an interesting angle that I never thought of. The fact that we could get through this lawsuit and never even have a verdict on the fair notice defense, and that they could go strictly on Howey. I mean, there are so many moving parts to this case. It's great to have the XRP community lawyers chime in. Tipsy Tiger Mike here saying, any reason this hasn't garnished more attention, bringing up a thread here from Monkey620 from back in July of 2021. This also has to do with the Ripple XRP lawsuit. Also, some very interesting points that I want to highlight in this. I don't know if you guys saw this back in July, but I think it's worth mentioning. So he starts off by saying the SEC offers guidelines on how a blockchain company can operate. This is Hinman's personal opinion. So number 1, they register offering equity, debt offering. Number 2, when enough funds are raised, then they offer the blockchain tokens to participants who use it/need the functionality that the network offers. He goes on to say this allows the tokens and coins to be structured and offered in a way where and then it's more evident that the purchasers are not making an investment in the development of an enterprise. In other words, it's easy to make the case that the token at the phase is not a security. So the SEC has been arguing this, right? The way in which the coins are disseminated is really going to make that decision for you, for your company. Was this coin disseminated and was it sold as a security or not a security based on their definition? Well, he brings up this interesting point as well. Ripple had 4 funding rounds, and he actually lists the funding rounds in this tweet thread. The seed funding round from back in 2013, $1.4 million raised, and the investors, Pantera Capital, IDG Capital, GV Team, Camp One Ventures. These are their Twitter handles. So if you guys hover over them, you can see who all these companies are. Then in 2015, they had a $28 million raised funding round with, again, IDG Capital, Seagate, RRE Ventures, Route 66 Ventures, Nurza Makishev, which I guess is a private investor, DCG Co., and then a few others here. I guess I don't have to list them all. And then the Series B funding round in 2016, $55 million raised, again, with all the investors involved. And then the Series C funding round on December 30th, 2019, $200 million raised. And this is what gave Ripple their $10 billion valuation with Tetragon Financial, SBI Group, and Route 66 Ventures. So he's documenting all these funding rounds that Ripple had throughout the history of the company. Then down here he says, with regards to Ethereum and Joe Lubin, Anthony Delorio, Vitalik Buterin, funding rounds equals 0. Sold Ethereum as funding for the development of the network. Ripple had built the XRPL and the network for XRP to run on. So there is the deciding factor here, and I think it's plain as day. Ethereum sold ETH tokens to fund the project, whereas Ripple, as per documented by Monkey620 here on Twitter, gives a very detailed analysis of all the Ripple funding rounds, the dates in which they were funded, the amount they raised, and all the investors involved. So again, another tweet thread that should be garnishing more attention. Wanted to thank Tipsy Tiger here and Monkey620 for posting discussing that. And Michael also brought this up. This is a summary from Jeremy Hogan's last video, where he says the SEC may have actually set themselves up for failure. If you guys didn't catch Jeremy Hogan's video, I suggest you watch the last one he just did. Let me just reiterate and highlight some of the important points here, some quotes from that video. Down here, as reported by the Daily Hodl, the SEC made a big mistake because it has been arguing that Hinman's speech was his personal opinion, and then for some unknown reason in this motion, it changed that position. As it stated in the court filings, based on its review of the documents, the court granted defendants' motion to compel production. The SEC's assertion that Hinman's speech was intended to communicate corporation finance's approach to regulating digital asset offerings is inconsistent with the SEC's and Hinman's previous position that the speech was intended to and did reflect his personal views. According to Jeremy Hogan, the shift in the SEC's stance could boost Ripple's fair notice defense, in which the company argues that the regulator failed to provide fair notice, that it was violating the law. Finally, if the SEC can't even get it straight whether the speech was his personal opinion or perhaps the entire division's guidance, and they can't even get it straight in the legal pleading with lots of forethought put into it, how the heck was Ripple supposed to know? So Jeremy Hogan, summing it up here, and again, I will link this article in the description of this video, and his YouTube video where he talks about this is linked right here at the bottom of the dailyhodl.com article. So an interesting perspective. The other thing, too, that was dug up by Stéphane Hubert was this. A video that he'd been looking for a while now. I found out why the video from GC Tech Conference is so important for Ripple. Hinman was asked in the interrogation if he knew of a video recording of his talk from that time. Unfortunately, none of us could find a recording, but here, guys, here is Mike Heath talking about Hinman. This was from back in November of 2018, only a few months after the Hinman speech. Listen to this.
And Director Hinman at the SEC has given a speech back in June and then just kind of reiterated again last week in New York to the Tech GC conference that he does believe that there are tokens that are not securities, and that there is a model to fund these projects without violating securities laws. But kind of his position is the vast majority of these things still are securities offerings, which means you have to comply with all of the securities offering rules. I mean, Director Hinman's opinion is that you should be funding these businesses through kind of a conventional venture financing model, and then once the technology is up and off, kind of you can stand it up, then you can kind of move on to the next phase, which would be kind of a more public token offering. I think it is interesting, though, the SEC has not really brought any actions on a pure securities law violation. Almost every single action they've brought that I'm aware of has either involved material misrepresentations or outright fraud. And there haven't been, as far as I'm aware, any straight just violation of the registration provisions of the Securities Act to date.
And to date, yes, very important to note, again, this was back from November 2018, because that has obviously changed. Here is the source from where Stéphane Hubert found this clip, the Technology of Silicon Breach Law and Technology from back in November of 2018. Interesting to note, it only has gotten 192 views over there on YouTube, and yet this clip here from Stéphane Hubert has already garnered over 28.3 thousand views. Now, for those of you guys who do not know, Mike Heath is a partner at Gunderson Detmer. Also over here on the panel is Nancy Wachtas, a partner at Cooley. So Mike Heath talking about Hinman in the context of cryptocurrency, in the context of securities, really kind of sinking the SEC's argument. And, as to Stéphane Hubert's point, this is why this GC Tech Conference is so important for the Ripple case. I don't know if their lawyers have seen this at this point, but some great sleuthing, Stéphane Hubert. Even down here, he states, stating that if the blockchain was funded and made functional by classic venture capital, then these tokens would then no longer fall under securities laws. This is, of course, a bombshell for Ripple's fair notice defense. Not only that, bringing in this monkey tweet again from back in July of 2021, outlining where Ripple got their VC funding and, pointing the fact out that Ethereum did sell tokens with 0 funding rounds. So many nails in the coffin at this point. XRP, guys, bound to pop, especially once we get that final verdict. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.